To say that I'm upset at Jess and Johnny being vulnerable is an understatement. They did very well in the challenge. They do not deserve to be vulnerable. And the idea that people were so intimidated by them that they made them vulnerable does not make sense to me. It does not make sense to me. So I don't get where that came from. And also, I don't think Toby and Georgia deserved to be vulnerable. Because just because someone has upset someone or they don't have feelings for someone, that does not mean that they should be placed to be vulnerable. I believe that's the reason why they were swapped in. And I'm going to stick to that because I don't see any other reason. You can't say they were a new couple because Celie and Eeyore are also a new couple. Make that make sense. Oh my God, I'm fuming, aren't I? Anyway, I digress. Hey there, it's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island Games, Season 1, Episode 9. I'm not going to lie, I feel some type of way because Johnny and Jess won the game fair and square. They had the highest points. They got the highest coins. I feel like they should have been immune. They should not have had coins put in their name because what's the point of them winning if they're just going to be in jeopardy? Make it make sense. And so people saying that, oh, Johnny and Jess and Imani and, Ray are always winning. No. Jess, this is the only time she's won. Ray, last time was the only time he's won. Are they saying Johnny and Imani are always winning? Is that what Callum is trying to say? I don't get that. And so for me, the whole setup was rigged in the sense that the producers didn't want Johnny and Jess to be immune. On the bright side, how I see it is because everybody gave less coins to Ray and Imani and made them the power couple, that sort of shields Johnny and Jess as long as they're not the bottom two because they don't have any blood on their hands in the sense that they don't get to save anyone or they don't get to nominate someone for elimination, which I'm happy with that aspect of it. And then for Kira and Megan to have this conversation about what happened to the case, I don't get it. For Megan to say, we said we were open, so I'm trying to explore connections. I don't think Kira's problem is that she's exploring connections. Her problem is the fact that Megan went and kissed someone or tried to kiss someone and didn't come back and report it. Megan would feel the same way if Kira went and tried to kiss someone and didn't report it. I think Kira needs to start exploring her options and see where she goes. Anyway, Moira then announces, as I've already said, Imani and Ray are the power couple. In second place is Justine and Jack. You can see who's running the house because the fact that Georgia and Toby are third, and then you have Celie and Eeyore being fourth doesn't make sense. I don't understand how Jess and Johnny are in the bottom three. Make it make sense. This doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense at all. So Kira and Megan are saved, obviously, because they are in the trifecta. They are friends with Justine, they're friends with Celie, they're friends with Ray. So obviously they were going to save them. Toby and Georgia, I don't even know how they managed to slide under the radar. And for me, it doesn't make sense. All it looks like is the UK team and the American team have decided to take out the Australians. And the only way they can take the Australians out because they're not in sort of a couple by themselves is to nominate the two couples with the Australian participants, because obviously they've taken out the French guy, they've taken out the Swedish lady. Now they're going for the Australians. I wonder what happens after they get rid of the Australians. It doesn't make sense. Johnny and Jess are in a romantic couple. They won the challenge, and yet they are the ones that are vulnerable. Yet you have Megan and Celie, who didn't do so well and are in a toxic couple, and they are saving that. Make it make sense. I don't get it. I hope Jess doesn't go home because I'll be furious. Anyway, so I think Johnny and Jess were furious because you later see everybody back sitting down. So I think they were called to come back and sit down. A text message comes in to say the Hideaway is open. Imani and Ray are going to the Hideaway since they're the power couple. And you automatically, know that something is up. Something is up. I am upset that Jess and Johnny are vulnerable. Had they been in the top 4, top 5, I would have been happy. The fact that they're vulnerable after winning the challenge is what I'm upset about. Anyway, One thing about my girl Jess, she's always going to be honest. She's always going to tell how it is. So when she's asked by the girls that how do you feel, she tells the truth and says, I'm furious. I'm furious because she won the challenge and yet she's still vulnerable and at risk of going home. Make that make sense. Liberty is just shaking in her boots because she doesn't know what's happening. So it's sad, but it is what it is. Johnny's being a politician. He's just saying it is what it is. He doesn't want to ruffle feathers, so he's just going to keep quiet. And then for Celie to cry to Justine that Toby said she was faking her relationship. We all know they were both faking their relationship. Toby wasn't happy when Celie chose him at the first coupling up ceremony. So the idea that she's shocked that he's moved on doesn't make sense. She knew he didn't feel her that way. She knew she had gone off him because at the moment she coupled up with Eyal, she was ready to kiss him. So make it make sense. I don't know why she's doing that. This now puts Toby in there, square on the bullseye because we know who's running the villa. We know that they can take him out if they want to. It's sad. Anyway, all the islanders get ready for bed and go to sleep. And in the hideaway, you have, Ray. Ray was sweaty. He was excited to be going to the hideaway with Imani. So while they're busy chatting and sort of walking around, they receive a text message to say you can swap a couple out. And I automatically knew that Ray was going to fight to swap Johnny and Jess, just because Johnny's his boy. I don't know. I wasn't sure who he was going to put in, but I knew he was going to save them. There's no way he can put Celie in. There's no way he can put Justine in. There's no way he can put Kira in and not have backlash. So the only other couple he was going to put was the UK team. And I said this before when I was saying the UK people need to wake up and smell the coffee and not let the Americans run the game. And look where we are. Now they're all vulnerable. So you have 3 UK people and 1 Australian person. Well, 1 technically UK person. So it's just UK against UK. So I don't know. We'll see how the game plays out. But I think it's very messy. So in the morning, I'm happy there's no debriefing. Amazing. Everybody knows how I hate those. Anyway, I feel some type of way about Ray coming with Imani back from the hideaway and still talking to Toby like, they didn't nominate him. It's like, I'm not really a Toby fan, but the fact that they're joking with him and playing with him and sort of making, watching him make breakfast and overfeed himself and stuff. And they're not giving him a heads up to say, maybe you might not want to eat so much just in case you have a challenge with an empty stomach that might hold you back. I feel some type of way. I think Ray should have given Toby a heads up. That's just my opinion. And then you have Callum with Liberty sort of practicing for the game. And the way they're like shouting out loud, oh, imagine it's Johnny, imagine it's like, why do you want to start beef? I think Callum, it's a pity that he friend-zoned Liberty. I think they would have been an amazing team. I think he should have continued to explore that, but I think he realized that if he played her, she would be severely heartbroken, so he didn't want to break her heart, and this is why he decided to go for someone else, and he decided to wait for a bombshell. I think he wanted to win Megan, but that failed. Jess and Johnny are just deflated. They're just deflated. They're not even prepping. They're just psyching each other up mentally, giving each other, words of encouragement. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. But they know that, they're not in the right frame of mind because it's hard to compute that you won a challenge and yet you're still vulnerable. You're in the bottom 2. That does not make sense. In my opinion, it doesn't make sense. And it makes me question who put the coins in for them. Was it Liberty and Callum? Who else would have put coins because they had at least 200 and something? So make it make sense. I think the other girls maybe put a couple in Johnny and Jess's pot outside of Liberty and Callum. I called it at the start when I said that I feel like the UK people should either align with the Australians or align with Steph and Lisa. And here we go. Because now you have Celie sort of crying to Imani and Kira that, Toby is saying that I was faking our relationship. She knows the truth. She knows that she was into Toby, but Toby was never into her from day one. But the two of them had decided to keep this ball rolling until the finale because she wanted to stay in on the show. So for her to suddenly appear sad or to suddenly cry wolf, to me, I'm not buying the tears. And I give it to Georgia for going to tell Toby that this is where you are. This is what, Celie is saying behind your back. She's complaining to the girls that you have ignored her and you said that, she was pretending to be in a couple. And it's like, but she would have known the day she chose him that he didn't want to be coupled up with her in the first place. He never wanted to be coupled up with her. He was happy to ride that till the end, but he never wanted to be coupled up with her. It seems he has more chemistry with Georgia. He seems to understand her banter. They seem to get each other. And he himself has even said that. So for him to pull her for a chat and then she starts crying, oh, I feel like, you're saying bad things about me. Oh, God, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's not at all. And it's a pity that now they've put Toby in the bottom because they're sort of fighting her war. That's my opinion. I feel like the reason why Imani was quick to jump on board to Toby, I think is because of the fact that Toby has upset Celie and they will not take it. And I said this before and I'll say this again. The UK did not look at the long game. They looked at their individual games. People like Jack. Jack is doing what's in his best interest and he's going to ride the Justine train until the finale. If that wins him the show, the better. So Moira arrives and, it's ready. It's time for the duel. And she reveals that, first of all, she asks Imani and Ray what happened in the Hideaway. And then she reveals that, they received a text message which told them they could swap out a couple. And you can see that Callum is not happy because he's looking at Ray and saying, but you didn't tell us this. You just kept quiet all day. And there's nothing Ray could do because his partner told him to keep it quiet. So he had to do what his partner told him to do. And as soon as it was announced, you could see on Toby's face, he knew he was screwed. He knew he was screwed because there's no way Imani would let him, skirt by after hurting Celie's feelings. So he knew he was probably vulnerable. So it's announced that Jess and Johnny are being traded out for Georgia and Toby. Toby already knew the moment it was revealed there was a text message that this was coming, and you could see it in his eyes. He was furious. He was seething because the excuse that Imani gave didn't make sense. She said they were a new couple, and it's like, so is Celie and Eeyore. Why didn't you pick them? Oh, let me think for a second. Because they're your friends? And because you're taking revenge for your friends? And because this is a UK only team, so you've decided to go for them since you can't go for an Australian team? Just be honest. Toby is seething. If it was Jess, oh my God, there would be F-bombs flying. But at least Toby was political enough to just keep quiet. With the game, I don't think Toby had a chance because there's no way Georgia would have been able to drag Liberty because Liberty is solid. Had it been Jess, she would have just dragged her. I think the only person who would have pulled her back is Johnny. But with Liberty and Callum, they far outweighed Toby and Georgia. So there was no way that Toby and Georgia would have been able to drag them because even when it came to time to pulling, you could see that Callum and Liberty were yanking Toby because Toby had no one to sort of support him because he had to anchor himself and he had to anchor Georgia. So he didn't stand a chance in that. And I'm not surprised that they lost. I think had it been something like, hitting each other off the bin bag or something like that, maybe he would have stood a chance. Or had he gone one-on-one, maybe he would have stood a chance. But with Georgia was actually a burden on him because he was now having to double his weight because the time he was running, she couldn't even stand up to run. She was just being dragged all over the place. So it's sad. I'm really sad. And I don't get where Jack comes from getting upset. He's the one who sold out Toby to the Americans. He sold Toby out to Justine and told Justine that, Toby felt like Celie was faking the relationship. So why is he suddenly upset when Toby's vulnerable? You set that up. Now he's gone. Curtis is gone. You're on your own. The moment a bombshell from America comes, Justine is dropping you and they're voting you out. And you put yourself in that position. And I don't get where Celie is coming from as well. I'm sorry, I don't buy her tears because she complained about Toby to the girls. What did she expect? Had she asked them to shield him, they would have shielded him and refused to swap Johnny out. But she complained about Toby and they wanted to maintain her sanity, so they kicked out Toby. So she can't pull him for a chat later and say, I want you to know that I really love and care for you. I'm happy that you're someone you really like. It's too late. I'm sorry. It's too late. You can tell how good someone was when they leave because you could see the guys were crying. Callum was crying, and Callum is normally playing the fool. So for him to cry, it means that he had a very strong connection with Toby. I don't buy Ray's tears. He voted for, for Toby to be vulnerable. So why is he crying? He needs to suck it up, Buttercup. And I'm happy that Toby walked out with someone he really liked, someone he cares for, and someone he could see himself with. So I really do wish him all the best. I don't know. I'm sad with the outcome. I'm sad with the outcome. Either way, I feel like people should go home because they don't deserve to be on the show, not because some people have tagged him and are deciding who goes and who stays. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 8. Bye guys.